Nothing has the potential to unite a community like youth sports, baseball, softball in particular. There's nothing like a Friday night at the ballpark. I know, I live in Texas and football is king, but there's just something special about this part of youth sports. And I think it's one of the best ways to give back to your community. A lot of you who frequent this channel have a background in church tech, which means you have the expertise as well as the equipment to be able to make youth sports all that it can be. Today we'll look at overlays and graphics on the Mevo Start and the Mevo Plus. I want you to have this information up front. You will need the $15 a month subscription to Vimeo Producer. That is $15 if billed annually. It's $20 if it's by the month. But most people fall into one of two camps. Either they'll be streaming their Little League games for a couple of months a year, so the $40 is worth it, or like me, they'll use it year-round for all the events they stream. It does add to the user experience, so I don't have a problem paying for it once a year. This walkthrough actually starts before the stream. We need to build a set of graphics to be used. I'll do that in Keynote on my iPad. Once in Keynote, we want to create a new presentation. We'll choose a black template and remove the default text boxes. Next, we want to tap on the plus and add an element. Choose a box and color it white. Hold the Command key and rotate it 45 degrees. Command D to duplicate it, and place the duplicate like so. Duplicate one more time and space them around like the 3 bases on a baseball diamond. Those give us placeholders for base runners. Next, we want to show what a runner on base looks like by coloring one of them yellow. Each combination of possible runners and outs will need to be made before your event. They can all be made one at a time, each on a different slide in Keynote, or you can do one at a time and export in between. Outs are showing by using yellow dots below the bases. We'll let Keynote help us align them because, well, OCD. This view gives us info that we have 1 on, 2 out. Once we have our graphic like we want it, we can export. Export is the 3-dot circle at the top right of the page. We'll let our yellow out dot highlight it for us. Remember, I said we could do all these graphics at once, each on a different slide. Slide range applies if you have graphics you don't want exported into this mix. JPEG's smaller file size is suitable for a small part of the screen, for such a small part of the screen, and makes loading them to the Mevo much faster. Choose Save Image and head into Photos. Now we want to edit this graphic. You will crop all the extra space out of each one you build. This takes a minute, but it will only have to be done once. I'm still using the ones I built in 2018. Let's look at this in a streaming simulation. I've set my Mevo in front of a monitor with this static shot on it. This will let us see what we need for learning how to run graphics over a baseball or softball game. Notice on our on-screen monitor, just for your information, it is both resizable and movable. I will put it at the center in the top so it is out of the way. Now tap on the slide icon that our out dot is highlighting. This pulls up all our options for overlays. Those include lower thirds, over the shoulders, and bugs. There's also the option of doing a full screen static shot or countdown. We'll choose the smaller square in the upper corner called a bug. In the pop-up that follows, navigate to where you saved the graphic from Keynote. You may keep them in photos. I put them on my iCloud Drive so I have access to them no matter which of my devices is controlling the Mevo. Tap on the graphic and then the plus. The next plus to tap on says, yes, this is the bug you want. Then tap on the graphic itself to tell the Mevo you'd like to display it. One final plus to tap for it to go out on the stream. We'll do something similar with the over-the-shoulder scoreboard. Once again, choose the slide at the icon at the bottom right of the screen. Then the over-the-shoulder box. I like to put my scoreboard as high and to the left as possible. Add your team names. And then space over to where you want the score. Tab will not be recognized, and the score will be too close to the team if you try to use tab. Return to the next line and put your inning. No, let's let this be the top of the first. I like to take out all opacity out of my scoreboard and use black text for an overcast sky like in our pick, or a white text for a night game with a black sky. You should play with it to see what you like. Tap the plus then to approve your scoreboard and let it upload to the Mevo SD card. Then tap the scoreboard you just made and the plus sign to send it to the stream. Notice neither overlay interferes with the view that we have. Even if we zoom into the action at first, it is still above the action. The same is true for third and the pitcher-catcher shot. Now let's get those lower thirds started. This may be the element our players like to see the most. If you can get a headshot of each player and have it built into the lower third with their name, position, and number, it'll make those kids feel like they have hit the big time. Choose the slide icon at the bottom of the screen, then tap on the lower third box. Next, tap on the pick icon at the top center of the screen. Click on the black box next to add your text and navigate to the picture of this player. I don't have pics of our team, so I'll use a team logo in its place. Choose it, hit plus, and now let's make sure we have 2 lines of text to add. The 2-line icon is at the top of the screen. Enter your player's name, number, and position, or whatever info you like to display. We'll call this one your kid. Of course, he's number 1, and we'll say he's a center fielder / pitcher. I like to pull the opacity slider down so the lower third isn't obnoxious when it pops up. Now choose the plus to accept what you made, then tap on the lower third, and finally the plus to send it live. Notice even when we zoom into the batter pitcher shot, it's still in a good position. When the situation for the game changes, choose the 3 dots on an existing graphic and tap on the plus icon that pops up. Navigate to the new graphic or update the score inning and confirm. Then tap on what you confirmed and tap on the plus to send live. We'll now be showing that there is nobody on and 1 out in this game. One thing to note about bugs, over the shoulders and lower thirds, is that they have to be loaded 1 at a time. Making them before your game is very helpful and allows them to be chosen much more quickly. Adding each to the Mevo SD card beforehand and in an organized manner makes selecting them easier as well. When the game changes, we simply tap our slide icon, choose the overlay that needs to be changed, and tap the 3 dots of that overlay. Then we choose the preloaded graphic. We'll say Elkhart put up a crooked number on this inning, and now it can be the bottom of the first. This happens each time we need one of our graphics. Once you've loaded all your graphics and lower thirds with player info, they're on the Mevo SD card and will persist. They'll be there each time you go to stream. Loading our graphics or changing the score and inning does leave the old scores present until they are deleted. Let's go through the process of changing that lower third. Again, this can be done before the event. You can preload all of these with their picture. Let's change this to their kid, who is, of course, number 2. And we'll let them be a shortstop and second baseman. Now let's look at presetting our scenes. When you tap and hold on the screen, you get choices that pop up. The one we want now is the plus icon. That locks a scene to zoom into. Notice I have first base, third base, and the pitcher-catcher shot all locked in now. They are adjustable in both position and size. Notice the runner going from
They can
first
overlap.
to second can be in both views, selectable one to the other. You also have the full screenshot that is selectable anytime you're zoomed. If you want a shot that's just smaller than all the way out, you can hold anywhere you don't already have a preset and drag that to the size you want and where you want it. Now I have 4 shots plus full view to choose from. These shots are accessible in another screen. The icon next to the slide at the bottom brings up another view of our presets. When you choose one of the presets in this screen, it changes what the viewers see in the stream. There is one other overlay to look at. We can put a whole screen static shot or countdown, which is especially useful for pre-game. Let's choose a start time for first pitch at 7 p.m. We have the option of putting a picture behind it and titling it, then moving it to whole screen so it counts down till game time. And that's what our viewers will see as we go live. Any clock or countdown will automatically go away when time is reached or when the countdown gets to 0. Now I'll show you some actual game action streamed this year before the season was canceled. I have over-the-shoulder, scoreboard, and base runner/outs bug in this view. The other team was batting, so I don't have the lower third for them. The Mevo with Vimeo Producer subscription is ideal for streaming baseball, softball, basketball, and volleyball. For high school sports in Texas, we have to get permission from both coaches, and I've only been told no once. Keep in mind, if music is played between the action, you'll have to work the mute button or risk getting muted for copyright issues. Live sports streaming always depends on your internet connection, and you may have to stream at a lower bit rate than you do elsewhere. But the joy it brings to the families and players who get to watch live or go back and review their games is worth every minute.